Hello and welcome. Thanks for dropping in. I'm going to be doing some amazing time management training with you. You will see me work through my workflow and my to-do list to give you an idea of exactly how I work multiple projects and save time. You'll be surprised. I do a LinkedIn live show, I do an Amazon live show, I do a Reddit show, I create a video every single day. I make editing that video, I create a thumbnail, I create an article, I share it on multiple sites, all in one day. How do I do it? I manage my time effectively. Time management is a massive thing that people don't concentrate on. If you identify the issue of time and how you're spending it on what you're doing, you'll actually be surprised how more productive you can be. The main goal here is we want to spend as little time as possible on actual hard work, which gives us more time to enjoy ourselves. So if you're managing your time, what it will mean for you is you'll allocate time to do the important stuff, but then you're also going to get a bonus because you're going to do that more quickly. You're going to have time to spend on your hobby, football, watching Netflix. You can spend more time doing that once you get what you need to be done out the way. If it's all mixed, you're not going to get as much productivity out of your time and you're going to end up wasting time. It's just going to drip through your fingers. Social media, all the distractions that we get will be a bit of a nightmare. So how can we do this? I'm going to share all the tips that I have from years of managing multiple projects with you in this course. So make sure you enroll and let's get started. Hello and welcome to this course. I'm going to be helping you today. How I'm going to work this is I'm going to be speaking to you about how we can actually make your day, your hour, depending on how long you're spending on a certain task, even more productive for you. So if you're spending a certain amount of time on a task, we need to make sure you're doing it in the right way, which means you're getting some value back from your time. Improving your time management is a really hot topic, especially if you've got a number of projects on. So we don't want to overwhelm you. I currently deal with more than 20 different sources of social media, articles, blogs, websites, projects, and lots of different aspects of planning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you how I manage this and how I still have time to watch Netflix. You'll be surprised at the amount of actual content creation I do and how I position it, which allows me to still have time to chill, which is the main thing we want to do today. I want to share with you how you can get all the important work done, but that doesn't mean you have to spend all day doing the work. We need to allocate time to help you relax as well. Who am I? I am Zulf. I have made a number of online creation on YouTube, Amazon Live, LinkedIn Live, Google Local Guides, Expert Photographer I'm ranked as. I do a number of blog projects and also share on multiple social media sites with articles to help you. So I made this course specifically to help you get through this time situation. Once you get your time sorted out, you'll be surprised how well everything else in your life will fall into place. So you want to have time to do those things that you love to do. You want to play games. We want to spend time on our hobbies, which are different. So we want to allocate that nicely and efficiently. We're here talking. I'm going to share it to you as I would speak to my friend. And I'm hoping that you find this useful and we can work together to help maintain your time. Remember, this is part of a course, so there'll be segments broken down into little chunks. So work through the segments that you like the look of and the ones that are helpful for you. You can reach out. There's a Q&A section on this course where you can actually ask me a question if you're worried about something. So drop me a message. I'll be happy to discuss how we can work this out for you and help you even better. So hang about. We'll look into this in more detail and let's see how I can help you with the tips I use to make your time more efficient for you and the time you spend on a task to be more productive. Why would you want to manage your time? What's the benefits of this? I'm going to give you a few reasons why managing your time is going to be very important for you. So number one, to be able to do a lot more with your time. So when I say this, I don't mean taking on more work. I mean getting more done in the time that you allocate for yourself. A lot of times people will allocate an hour, but they actually will only probably spend 30 minutes of that time, sometimes even less, doing the actual task, because there's loads of additional things that we start focusing on that are linked to what we're working on. So I'm going to speak about this and cover you a few ideas of how you stay within your criteria. We need to be more in control. This will mean that what we're doing will be beneficial for the wider goal. It will allow us to make better decisions for what we're working on. So once we make those decisions, it will help us to move on to what we're going to be doing and when we're going to be doing it. We want to reduce pressure. So the main thing is, when people start looking at time management, they think, oh, okay, I need to get more tighter and do more and be more productive. But that's not always the case. We just need to make sure what you're doing is getting you the right results. And we don't want to pressurize ourselves or our brain into thinking there's more stress there. So we need to do it in a way that reduces the stress and the pressure on our thoughts. Have more energy. So we need to have a bit more energy around how we're using these. So energy in the sense of getting the work done. So if it's in the form of writing, if it's in the form of making a video, if it's in the form of going to the gym a bit more, it's all related. Even if you're doing some additional tasks that you need time for, such as hobbies, and you need to spend some time there. And what will happen is, as you get successful in each of these little criteria that you set yourself, you will actually feel the energy. You'll be surprised how well, if you plan something and you get it done, you get an energy boost, which next time makes it easier for you to get back into the flow. We also want you to start feeling better about yourself. Once we start getting more tasks completed and our to-do list is not as big, if we're even using a to-do list, we'll discuss that in more detail. And it's very important for your self-esteem and your time. We need to feel better about ourselves. And as a result of managing our time better, we will feel better about ourselves because we're getting more done. So we've highlighted a few things there that would help us. How about steps, actual steps to manage our time? So we need to actually establish what we're spending our time on. So we'll call this one being aware of our time. We need to see, what are we spending our time on? How are we spending time on it? And how long does it take? This can be as simple as getting your mobile phone, putting a timer on there when you start a task, and then ending the timer when you finish that task. This is like back to basics. We want to see how long it takes. For example, I made a video about some products and I gave myself an hour to make that video. I put a timer on and I made the video, and I was able to actually make the video in an hour. I was able to subtitle the video within that hour because I knew I had a set time, but then my time ran out. So because there's more involved in there, I was aware that, okay, I set myself an hour, but that was probably pushing myself a bit too hard. So maybe I need to give myself an additional 30 minutes. So then I jotted on my notepad, I did an hour. Then I put 30 minutes extra on my phone and put that timer down. And then I spent that time on a thumbnail, and that took half an hour. And then I put a 30-minute timer on again, just to see how I'm working. And then I was able to write the article, supporting article with that. So actually, in theory, in 2 hours, that wasn't too bad. I managed my time in that scenario. I stuck to my goal of making a video. However, the video needed multiple steps. I recorded the video. I had to add subtitles. I had to make a thumbnail for that. I also had to make an article. So actually I did 4 pieces of work, which may not be linked. You may class these as separate pieces of work, but my goal was to get a video made and uploaded. The steps that need to be done for that were 4 steps in my case, and I was able to have a video ready and uploaded in 2 hours. That is a great achievement for a video which was 6 minutes long. It's giving you an example of how I was aware of my time. I set a limit and I did my task, and I did initially give myself an hour. So there's nothing wrong with thinking, okay, I didn't make that. You don't want to be make yourself think, oh, I set an hour, I didn't do that. It's okay. Give yourself a bit more time, add an extra 30 minutes on, you did it. Add another 30 minutes, we did it. So then in 2 hours I was able to provide that video. Now in future, if I need to make a video, I'll set it as 2 hours, and I'll remember to look up at an hour and make sure that I've done my video and subtitles at the 1 hour point, and then spend the remaining 30 minutes on the article and the thumbnail, which gives me something to work towards. So every task will be different, but once you do something regularly, or you're doing it more than once, you're going to find how that's working for you, and then we'll look at additional sections. So being aware is a massive point to consider, so you know that you're physically timing yourself for a task. Using that same example, establish goals. So what were my goals in that example? Well, I knew I needed a video. So I knew as part of that video, it's not only a video, I will need to spend time on the video recording element of it. So you need to give yourself relevant time for that. And then additional subtitles needed, actual me walking through the video, making sure what was being said was the right words, because sometimes auto captioning doesn't work great. You will know that. And then you want to spend some time also working on the goals of what will the video be used for. So I knew I needed to post it on a few social media sites. So that meant I need to make it in a way that's easily shareable. And I said I'm going to dedicate that time slot for this task. So my goal was I need a video and I'm going to get it done after this 1 hour, which then became 2 hours. So in that example, if you had another task planned after that task, that needs to be managed in a separate way. So ideally, each task you have will plan. So planning is going to be the next one. I'm going to work through these in a section so that it covers you in terms of how it works for you. So planning is an important step. Let's talk about planning. Plan is very important. If you plan it, you're going to get it done. So I go in this example. I know if I plan a day of video recording, then I need to set out enough time for that. There may be additional niggles or things that can come into my mind. If you've done a task for long enough, you'll understand the types of challenges that can come up. So try and plan those into your time management that you're going to be spending on that. So let's think about that. In my example, I was going to record a video. I knew there'll be a couple of sections between that need the final video being made be workable. So what does that mean? Well, the plan element of it was I knew I would get the video done, but the additional tasks that needed to be done as a result of the video being made needed additional time on there. So actually I had a 3-hour chunk booked out. I knew I'm going to spend about 3 hours on this task. So just because I set a timer for an hour, that gave me a ability to focus on that task. If I didn't say I'm going to spend 3 hours on that, what would have happened? This is what would have happened. I would have started the task. I would have got a notification that someone tweeted me. I would have started going into Twitter. I would have got a notification on my mobile phone. I would have checked my emails. Amazon may have sent me a message about live streaming. I would have had to start looking at live streaming. LinkedIn might have sent me. There's loads of things out there that will distract you. So if you're focusing on that time, it was a 3-hour slot I knew I'm going to be focused for. No other distractions. I spent an hour because that gave me a thing about, okay, yeah, I'm doing an hour, but when that timer stops, I can have a bit of a break. It's not a full 3-hour slot that I'm spending my whole time working on. So I spent an hour on that, and then once that was done, I realized, okay, actually, you know what? I did very well in that hour. I got quite a lot done. Let me give myself another 30 minutes. So that lets you progress on that because you're getting through a stage of doing more. If the timer was not set there, you'll get to a point where you'll easily spend an hour on social media sites. If you listen to music on YouTube, for example, suggested things will come up in there that you might deter you of something you watched earlier or the day before. You're like, oh, that looks interesting. Let's have a quick look at that little video, the funny video or whatever it is. So try and stick to that plan where you know what needs to be done and book at a slot. Next up, we're going to look at priorities, which touches on those things, the distractions I mentioned. So let me look at priorities. So priorities is going to be a big one. Now, this will come in the terms of what needs to be done. So in our example, because we booked out a time slot, the 3 hours we're talking about for that video to be created, what were my priorities? Well, I knew I was looking at an important email coming through. So I thought in the first hour, I'm not going to look at that email. I'm not going to check my email because that will distract me and pull me in another direction. So actually I did very well there because the original hour I spent on that, I prioritized my video creation over everything else. So at that point I knew if I have an important response I need to send out within a certain time frame, I won't pick that day. So I'll reposition it where I've got a slot where I know nothing time sensitive needs to be done. So this will work in your priority list, which we're going to talk about. We're going to do a real example so you can see exactly how my priority list is made, and we'll use a day example for me. We'll include it a typical day, so you'll see that as I talk about it, and we can use this to help you to prioritize your tasks as well. And setting priorities will be very good because we will make sure we're getting to our plan and we're getting to our goals to be aware of what we're creating and what we're doing. Now, some of these points there I talked about will give you an overview, but we need to also develop habits. Habits of doing things regularly in a certain way will make it so much easier. I have been able to develop a habit where I'm working a lot more easily. I find it easier now than I did originally. You'll take about 3 or 4 days of regular constantly thinking about what you're doing, how long you're spending doing it, and then it will fit into place. So let's talk a bit more about habits and how those will help you to manage your time in the best way. So habits are things such as getting up a little bit earlier, finding a slot of your day where you know you'll be spending that time doing something unproductive. If you're spending 4 or 5 hours or even 3 or 2 hours a day on something that's just regular and you've got a bad habit, for example, in the evenings I'll tend to watch box sets. I've re-energized myself where that time has been reduced to 1 hour. Every day, evening, I have 1 hour, for example, between 8 and 9 p.m., where I'll spend watching just YouTube videos, etc. Your goal here is to become the creator and not the consumer. So, the habit in this example would mean you would position yourself in a way that you try and get as much done as early as possible. So, my habit has been when I wake up, I'm fresh. So I get the most majority of my filming, my editing, the intensive tasks that takes energy away from you done quite early. That means after midday and late afternoon, I've got a couple of hours where I can take a break out. And I actually go out, I'll walk the dog, I'll go in the garden, spend time in nature just to get revitalized. And then after that, after an hour of just spending time relaxing, walking, I find, oh yeah, I'm re-energized and I can do another 2-3 hours. So that is actually bonus time. So that is a habit. Now this all depends on what your priorities are for the day, which we talked about. But the habits are something you need to find certain sections of the day where you can meet those demands of what you need to do within that time. So for example, coming back to my daily routine, if I was to use my morning section for video creation like I'm doing right now, I'm actually recording this video in the morning. So this will be done by midday. Then I'll go out and have a little bit of relax. Then I'll come back and I'll feel, okay, I've done quite well today. I've done all the videos done. So I'll get a sense of accomplishment. My habit then means, okay, as I've done that, let me spend a bit of time editing that, adding in any additional overlays, subtitles, and then thinking about thumbnails. So I've taken an hour out, which would be technically a lunch break, but you kind of snack throughout the day and little and often to keep you energized, and fluids are very important as well. So you'll notice with time management, having fluids on hand will actually increase your ability to be able to go for longer. So having a bottle and drink regularly, I'm actually less tired after a longer session. What is a long session? For me, in my habits, I can do 3 hours of continuous video recording and not have any issues. I just take sips of fluid and then I'll have a small meal and then I'll have a break and then I'll come back and decide, how do I feel? Do I feel good? Okay, I'll carry on doing what I was doing, because the habit means let me finish that. But if I wasn't, I'll be like, okay, so tomorrow, instead of intense recording, which I've already done and I've got a sense of accomplishment, I will spend that time looking at editing, making thumbnails, and creating the overall wrapper of the video I've made. So that would be my slightly lower intense task for tomorrow morning. And then I use certain sections of the day to do that. And in the afternoon, I can look at emails and additional things and tasks. We will look at a proper example of this. I'm giving you this as a segment so we can actually digest this, but look at my example section where I'm actually looking at my day and you'll see how that works. So that's coming in the course. Now we're getting into the juicy bits here. What are time stealers? Well, it's nice and easy. Time stealers are all those social media notifications you get on your mobile phone, or if you have multiple phones for work and for yourself, you'll know how those work for you. So time stealers are things that will take you away from what you planned to do, what you set out to do, and those 5 points that we talked about. So we want to make sure that you don't get caught out with these time stealers. They are the worst thing ever. Because what will happen is, if you plan to spend 3 hours on a task and then all of a sudden you get a text or a meeting, a notification that, oh, it's been cancelled, or can we have an urgent meeting, or da 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 da. You need to prioritize how important that is to what you're doing at the moment. Can that be delayed to another point? Do you have a justification to leave what you're doing to do that? Now, this depends on what you class as being important. So I think it's going to be very important to manage the well, let's be frank about it. Your top motivation is either the project that brings in the most satisfaction. If it's a monetary value, is it a accomplishment value? Is it something that needs to be done? You need to consider what is your hierarchy. So let me give you an example of this. So how we're going to work this is, we will say I have, I don't know. Okay, so I have a car dealership. Now let's prioritize and think about time stealers. If I'm in the car dealership and I'm selling cars, it's not a great example, but I'll give you an idea. Now, my number one priority is if our customer comes through the door, I need to be available to sort them out for sales. So my first time stealer is going to be customers. Is that a good time stealer? Yes, it is, because that's what I need to be there for. So if I get a new delivery of vehicles, so a dealership often gets cars coming in via shipment. So if I was going to get a delivery, is that more important than my customer? No. I could make that delivery person wait a little bit, half an hour, 20 minutes, while I deal with the customer, because my goal there is to make sure my customer is happy and they get the right car they want. That is my number one priority. How about if we get some additional phone calls about marketing? It can happen. Is that a priority? Marketing call? No, that's not a priority. That would be below the delivery person, because I have a sense of professional courtesy to not make the delivery person wait longer than necessary. He's bringing me new cars, so I want to get those cars onto the forecourt as soon as possible to allow the customers more choice. So that already is an element of prioritizing 1, 2, and 3. So does that make sense? Does that help you understand how I'm using that theory there? So let's look at another example. Say, for example, I am working on a video. So I'm working on a video. What could be potential time stealers? Firstly, I could have comments that pop up on my videos, on my channel. People might be asking me questions. Is that a priority to my current working on a video? No. So we will discount that. It is a potential time stealer, because you might look at that comment and think, I can answer that comment. And you start going into the comment and start spending time finding resources and links to other videos that can help that question, which you end up losing 5 to 10 minutes, which is time stealer. You might get a notification on your mobile phone of a comment, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, emails, a potential new collaboration. Happens all the time. And your email, you'll think, oh, okay, that looks interesting. That might be nice. You'll just quickly answer that. There's another possibility there of 10 to 20 minutes minimum before you end up wasting time. So already before you know it, you're wasting at least half an hour. And that time flies by when you're doing that. However, if you had spent that half hour making the video, like in our example that we talked about, you would have actually made half of that video. 30 minutes. In an hour, you would have had the video done. So it's potentially may be worth making certain things wait while you complete that task, which brings us on to multitasking. Is multitasking a good thing? Let's find out. So multitasking is a very important subject. Can you multitask? There's actually been research about people think they can multitask, but they actually end up halving their potential because they're spending time doing two things. So they actually get focused on one thing, one task, and as they're getting into the flow of that task, they'll think, oh, okay, let me jump onto that task. And then you're going to work on the secondary task, which then means when you come back to the first task, you're actually having to recap, oh, okay, where did I get to? Did I complete that text in that subject? Did I write that? Did I export the file? You're just wasting 30, 40 seconds re-energizing yourself to where was I? And then you're going to come back to the second task, and you're going to have that situation again. Everybody works in different ways, so you may find you are good at multitasking. But I would say time yourself with two tasks at the same time. Because what the best thing is to find out what works for you is time yourself. Like I did when I did the video editing challenge to myself, I timed myself. So in this example, we don't want to hide behind anything. We're proving this to ourselves to see how well we can do it. So if it's right and you can multitask and you do well, perfect. If you don't, identify that and see what is best to do. Should you just allocate an hour to task 1, finish that and then do task 2, or allocate 2 hours and 30 minutes on both tasks and you end up jumping between them? That's going to be a judgment call based on your research and how you find that out. However, I would say, based on my experience, if I want to do video editing and I also want to make a thumbnail, if I do them at the same time, I won't be as good as if I spend my time editing the video, completing the video, then concentrating on my second monitor with just the thumbnail. My thumbnails always work out better. They look nicer. They're more, you can tell the full attention has been given to them. Whereas when I make them while I'm doing double tasks, they're always not good. So I end up reworking them anyway. So potentially I'm wasting time. So this will be something to think about in many examples. Multitasking can be a great option if the two tasks are easily exchangeable and adaptable. So examples of that would be depending on what you're working on, but in my example I find it doesn't work great for me. So that's a bit of information to let you know from my years of content creation and loads of thumbnails and videos and live streaming, how sometimes you can work on that, sometimes you can't. For example, a good example of multitasking would be, I made a video, I've recorded it in a way that it can be uploaded. I will record it and I will upload it. While it's uploading, I'll record my second video. And while the second video is recording and then uploading that, I can come back to the first video and then add the information for the articles. So that is a good example of that, because when I made the video, the topic is fresh in my head. I've been able to write the article a lot quicker while the second video was being rendered. So that's an example of where it's potentially possible, which works in a flow. So you need to find your flow. Procrastination. Now, this is a tricky one. Once you identify it and you understand what it's about, you'll know what I mean. What do I mean by procrastination? I'll put you a little thing up here to explain what it actually means in case you're not sure about it. But it's a time where you're thinking about doing something and you're thinking a bit more about it. And then you end up thinking, oh, actually, you know what? I'm not going to be that good at that today. I've got this to do. I've got that to do. I'll do that tomorrow. Or you're thinking about doing something and then you're like, oh, last minute niggles. Oh, you know what? I don't want to get out of bed. I've got to take the dog for a walk. I'll take the dog out, then I'll do it afterwards. And then you keep putting it off. That's basically the gist of that. Now, this one, if you can identify it, you will actually be amazed how well you can do. So a lot of people do this with content. If you're making content, you procrastinate about it. You're like, will it be good? Can I make it better? Should I spend more time on it? Should I? Thinking. Don't think. What you want to do? Okay, I need to make a video. I'll think, okay, what's my current situation? Do I have something on? No, I don't. Can I make that video now? Technically, a lot of the times your brain will talk you out of doing things that you could do. But what you'll find is 100% when you do what you were thinking about doing, firstly, it will be amazing because you'll actually start getting into the flow of it and you'll start making that content, video, idea, training, going to the gym, whatever it was you were going to do. And then afterwards, you get a boost and it feels so nice that you've actually been able to complete that task that you were thinking about. A lot of the time, it's not as bad as what your brain is telling you it is. It's geared to make you be lazy. It basically wants you to relax and not put yourself in any unnecessary risk. Technically, it's a risk because you're making something and putting it out there into the world, which could get criticism or possibly. But the goal here is, if you're confident about yourself and your idea, which I did a full course on, by the way, so you can check that out, getting your ideas down on paper for a new brand or a channel and how the best way to do that is to make sure you succeed. So check that course out and you'll actually learn that. So coming back to topic, procrastination is that nightmare. If you get stuck into that vicious cycle, you end up just wasting loads and loads of time. How can you get around it? Well, if you need to do something and you want to feel like, okay, I should do that now. We all know it. We have that moment. You'll know in your own mind, I could do that, but shall I do it? Nah, I'm not feeling it. I'll do it some other time. That moment, you'll be like, yes, I need to do it. You get up, 3, 2, 1, just get up and you're going to do what you need to do. If you do that, you'll discover after you do it, one, you'll feel very accomplished. So it's a great task. So the impact of procrastination, let's talk a bit more about this because I think this is a big topic which might need its own course. I can go into it in a lot of detail. You might be thinking everything needs to be perfect before I put it out. Now, if we all thought that, you would not be seeing this video. There's always going to be elements of everything that can be better, and also it's in the eye of the beholder. Some people watching this might think, oh wow, look, he's got such a beautiful set, his sound sounds amazing, his lighting's excellent. And they'll have other people there which are a bit higher than my level. They'll be like, oh, you know, his lighting's a bit too bright there. Why doesn't he have a side light filling him in on the right hand side? Why is there background mess in there? So everybody will have their opinion. You can't please everybody. So you need to make sure what you're creating is something that's coming from your heart and you're sharing it, and then that will be the best you can do. As you progress and you do more and more, you'll get better and better. I started my YouTube channel many years ago with a few videos, and I'm at a point now I've got over 600 videos. If I went back and looked at my first video, I'm like, oh my god, look at that. But now when I look at my last few videos, I'm like comparing them and thinking, wait a minute, you know what, I'm glad I started when I did, because I saw the physical improvement between my videos, so I know I'm getting better. It's human nature. The more you do something, the better you're going to be at it. Just get out of that situation of thinking it needs to be perfect. It doesn't. You will have your way of doing things, which is going to be good. It's going to be easy. It's going to be presentable. And you're doing it because you're doing it. There's going to be some people out there that aren't doing it because they thought, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll wait till it's perfect. And they end up never doing it. So there's loads of opportunity out there. So get this as a personal push that you need to get out there and do it. You might be thinking everything needs to be perfect before I put it out. Now, if we all thought that, you would not be seeing this video. There's always going to be elements of everything that can be better, and also it's in the eye of the beholder. Some people watching this might think, oh wow, look, he's got such a beautiful set, his sound sounds amazing, his lighting's excellent. And they'll have other people there which are a bit higher than my level. They'll be like, oh, you know, his lighting's a bit too bright there. Why doesn't he have a side light filling him in on the right hand side? Why is there background mess in there? So everybody will have their opinion. You can't please everybody. So you need to make sure what you're creating is something that's coming from your heart and you're sharing it, and then that will be the best you can do. As you progress and you do more and more, you'll get better and better. I started my YouTube channel many years ago with a few videos, and I'm at a point now I've got over 600 videos. If I went back and looked at my first video, I'm like, oh my god, look at that. But now when I look at my last few videos, I'm like comparing them and thinking, wait a minute, you know what, I'm glad I started when I did, because I saw the physical improvement between my videos, so I know I'm getting better. It's human nature. The more you do something, the better you're going to be at it. Just get out of that situation of thinking it needs to be perfect. It doesn't. You will have your way of doing things, which is going to be good. It's going to be easy. It's going to be presentable. And you're doing it because you're doing it. There's going to be some people out there that aren't doing it because they thought, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll wait till it's perfect. And they end up never doing it. If you need to create a new article, what you could do is break it down to chunks. So your ultimate goal is having a 1,000 word article. What you could say is, okay, you know what I'll do? I'll spend half an hour thinking of the topic, and once I've done that, that's me done. And then I'll do the second bit. So if you break it down, it'll actually make it easier for you to achieve the final goal. If it's a bigger task, even doing small chunks of it, you get a sense of, well, accomplishment, and it'll make you feel better, and then you can go on to the next one. And as you get in the flow, you'll find you'll actually complete the whole task. That's what happens with me. So there's loads of opportunity out there. So get this as a personal push that you need to get out there and do it. We're going to do an audit of myself. So I need to make that's one task I've got. Now, I also need to live stream on Amazon Live every day for 1 hour. And I need to book out at least 1 hour and 30 minutes for that. 15 minutes beforehand, 15 minutes afterhand. So 1 hour 30. So I know 1 hour 30 of my day is already booked up. So I will start with that task because it's in the future. So I will make the thumbnail as soon as I can. 5 to 10 minutes. It is not too fancy. And then that will become a live stream for 8 p.m. So now I know at 8 p.m. I've got a task that needs to be done at that time. So I need to make sure I'm available at that slot or 15 minutes beforehand. So that then means I need to make my one video for LinkedIn before that. Based on my research and my timekeeping, where I time myself doing a video, I was able to make a video for 6 minutes in 2 hours. So that quick maths, in an hour, I should be able to make that LinkedIn video. So that's another hour there. In addition to that, what else do I need to do? Well, I'm making teaching courses. So I need to make another teaching course, which means I need to allocate time to record the first segment of the videos. So course, we'll put 3 hours. So now we've got loads of other things we need to do, the regular time stealers. Let me get my list out and you'll see. Okay, so I've got my to-do list out. I'm going to share this with you, so you're lucky you're getting this. Udemy training, I need to do 3 training courses there. I need to come up with the idea. I need to set up the gear, the audio, the program, the stream, the artwork, and then those slots are empty for additional things that will be required. I need to do a few other ones over here as well, which is another section. Now, how I do it is I give it on my teaching, I give it 1 page. I've got different pages for different tasks. I've got some additional t-shirt designs that I need to make. So there's additional tasks there. Now, we need to prioritize this. So let me add this in. We have additional t-shirt designs. So that's another task. So 1, 2, 3, 4 tasks at the moment. As well as that, I have additional tax information that I need to set up. So spreadsheets, working calculations, how much have I spent, what am I doing? So your daily essentials, basic tax sheets update. So I know that's going to be an hour minimum. Now, what else have we got? We've got another page here for Amazon. So we've got Amazon page, which is the live show stream, but I need to make additional content for Amazon. So that's content Amazon. Now this list is going to get bigger and bigger, but as long as we've got a list, that is the first point of time management. What else have I got here? LinkedIn. So we already have LinkedIn up here, and that's something we're going to be working on. Now I've got additional pages here which I won't show you because there needs additional work on there. So you're probably that's gonna be blurred out for you there, but there's additional things, as many as that times 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tasks. I've got 12 tasks. Now I need to prioritize what's important to me. I have already prioritized because I've knocked one thing off my list, which is going to be done first. So the Amazon live show needs to happen. It's going to be a live audience, so I need to make sure I'm ready for that. That 1 hour 30 minutes is ready at 8 p.m. I'm going to do that. So now, up until 8 p.m, what else I'm going to do? I'm going to make a list of 3 things that I'm going to get done. That's it. 3 things. Break your day up into 3 sections and it works very well. Now, these 3 things can be really intensive or low intensity. I normally go day 1, high intensity, day 2, low intensity, day 3, mid intensity. What I mean by that? Let me show you. So in this example, my LinkedIn video will be mid. It's not too intense. It's only a 3-minute video. So that's a mid level. So maybe in the afternoon where I'm a bit more lazy, I'll do that. So afternoon at 12. So at 12, I'm going to make that video. And that'll be done by about 1:30. So I'm kind of roughly planning my layout here. Amazon Live is already sorted. Course for 3 hours. I will do that as soon as I wake up. Morning routine out the way. And get up as early as you can. The earlier you get up, the better. 8 a.m. is a good start. Some people get up ultra early. It depends on your situation. So I'll get up at 8. By 10 o'clock, I would have walked the dog, had my breakfast, spent a bit of time in the garden, just relaxing, nothing intense. And then I'll come and record my 3-hour course, which will take me up to 12. So now, in that time, from 3-hour course to 12, I've got 3 hours. So I'm going to make sure I spend a full 3 hours on that task. So that means at 12, I might actually have to delay that a bit because I want to have a lunch, or I'll call it a break, a 1-hour break. So instead of 12, we'll call that 1300. So we'll do that at 1 o'clock. So at 12, I'll finish my 3-hour course. I'll have an hour out, just regenerate, go outside, have a look around, relax, have some food, and then see how I feel in the afternoon. And I'll be like, you know what, I did a 3-hour course there. That 3-minute video will be easy to do. So I'll do that video. So that's 1, 2. So we're saying in the morning, we've got 3 hours on video production. That's number one. We're going to do that in the morning. Then I'll take a break, 1 hour. It's important to take some time out. Don't spend a long time doing everything. That 1 hour will rejuvenate you to carry on, and take small breaks and often. So 3 hours is a long stint. You could even, after an hour and a half, go down, have a little toilet break, get refreshed, get some food, some snacks, some fruit, and then come back and carry on. So that's not like solid. This is not like a diary that you have to spend that time on there. I do it by day. Sometimes I might do a 3-hour course in the evening and I'll have the whole day blank. So as long as you're productive in the time you're doing the task and you get it done, you'll feel successful. So the break's sorted out, so that's 1 hour. We'll call that an item because it's important to get. Then number 3, we come back after the break and then we'll do the LinkedIn video. And then number 4 is the Amazon Live. So I'll call it a day there. So what I'll do is I'll put that on my desk. I'll write out the 4 things I need to do for tomorrow, leave it here, and when I come up tomorrow, I've got those 4 things to do. And I know in a full day I can get them done. So as I do them, I'll cross them off, and then I'll find, oh, actually, you know what? Between that afternoon LinkedIn video and the 8 p.m. Amazon Live video, I've got 4 hours. I've got a few more things here that I could do. Should I spend some time on the t-shirt designs? And you'll have bonus items you'll add on. I do this a lot. So I'll actually start adding bonus items, and that'll make me feel even better, because what I'll see is, oh, you know what? I did the 4 items that I meant to do. I'm doing really well. I've achieved my goal. Don't make a list of too many things and then get some of them done. Make sure the list you're making can be done in that time, and then complete it. And then if you're left with time, have a relax, low down, and then look at other fun things you want to do, because you'll feel in different moods every day. You might want to do a bit of artwork. Some days you might want to go outdoors another day. You might want to go for a bike ride, do some energy, gym work. All of these are still successes because you're building yourself. So that's an example and an audit which gave you an idea. So technically there, all that I've got is 1.31 and 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. About 7 hours of work there, really. Was it not 3, 4, 5, 5:30, 5, 6, about 6, we'll say. About 6 hours of work there. That is only from 12 till 6. There's loads more time. Now, this is how demanding you want to work and what you want to do with your time. Time management is down to your perception of your time. So that is an audit of time, which we'll look at and schedule time for the tasks. There will be an element here of very important tasks which will be falling outside our normal routine. So for example, say if I had an email and I was asked to make a product demonstration video for somebody, that would be a client. So that will trump a lot of my regular tasks I do. So that will be an urgent or important additional piece of work. So if that was the case, all I will do is revisit this and think, am I planning day on day? Am I planning for a week? I tend to plan day on day. I find that works well for me. So if I had a specific item come in my mid-afternoon, after I've finished all that, I'll do a quick look at emails and additional ad hoc duties. And if I find a task there, then I will preempt what the plan would be there, and then put in the 3 hours. Instead of video production for my courses, I'd put 3 hours video production for sponsored item or product demonstration. So I can interchange things out and then push this filming to the next day. So this is something to keep in mind. You want to have a look at the ultimate importance of the task. So the things you're doing for yourself to continue regular content is a nice to have. It's a regular, it's an important but not urgent. But getting additional business and making sure the client gets what they need, like we use the examples of the car dealership, where if you have a new customer coming in, that's your number one priority. You want to look through that. Additionally, if you have additional learning courses and people ask questions and answers regularly, you want to set aside an hour a day to look at that and see if there's any questions. And if there's not any there, you can reallocate that time to a secondary task. So that gives you an idea about making sure that new tasks that come in, not everything will be urgent. You need to list it out and find out, wait a minute, which of these are actually urgent. Sometimes the ones that need the least amount of work are urgent, so get them out the way. There may be examples where you might have so much tasks that need to be done urgently, and if it's bringing you additional income in and your list is very big, then you need to think about delegation. So delegation is a nice place to be. It basically means you've got a lot of work coming in, which is bringing you revenue and bringing in good profits for you to be able to do that task. But then you need to get delegation. So you need to look at additional people that can support you. Can you delegate out tasks? If I get to a point where I can't do what I need to do, I will start looking at my regular people that help support me. I have people to help support me make thumbnails, to edit videos. Now, if I get to a point that 4 or 5 sponsors come in during a week, which has happened regularly, I will concentrate on the content creation and then delegate out each of the sections to my people that are already in tune with what I need. So I'll hand out the options for thumbnail creation and the video editing while I concentrate on the content creation, and then have sight of the final completed piece to make sure it's in line with the requirements of the brief. So don't be afraid to delegate out work. And if you're slowly getting into this and seeing income coming in, don't be afraid to pay for additional people to support your work, achieve your deadlines. So it's always a priority to look at the best way to make your flow and process work for you. Now, getting additional staff is a whole nother topic and course, so I'll do a separate section on that to advise how to find the right people and how to work with them in a way that you're ready before you need to be ready. So getting new additional support and delegation is a separate topic that you want to think about before you need it. So we've covered a number of things there, but there's going to be some things which are going to be inevitable. We've got our flow set up here. So ideally tomorrow, that will be my flow. But interruptions is going to be something we need to, on the fly, identify and think what is a valid interruption that we should spend time on and what is not a valid interruption. So say, for example, I'm doing my 3-hour video editing production in the morning and I get a number of emails or calls about working on something. Now, at that point, if I get a call interrupting me for video production, firstly, my phone will be on silent. However, my phone is on silent as I'm recording segments. I'll have a glance at it every few hours or every half hour to make sure there's nothing urgent that needs my attention. If there is, I will need to prioritize on the fly and log a quick time slot that I've spent 10 minutes on deciding if the website email was down, for example. The website emails were not coming through, so there's a problem with the servers, so I had to go and check that out. Now, is that more important than my current task of recording video production? Yes, it is, because potentially new people seeing the website won't be able to send me emails. So in that scenario, I would put a hold on my current task and look at that to make sure what I'm working on is not more important than my website. Bringing in new customers, additional information, making sure people watching that, blogs, articles, getting that information teaching will be very helpful. So on the day interruptions, log the time, so then you know if you spent longer on your production, 3 hours, you spent 3 hours 30 minutes, it's valid because you actually spent some time out to fix an urgent issue, putting out a fire. In that kind of example, putting out fire. So hopefully that helps you how long, and grade the interruptions important as well. So something like that would be very important. If I had a call from somebody asking me to providing with additional support for something they've got, like additional help sheet, that could technically wait a few hours. So I would look at how that interrupts what I'm doing and the flow I'm in. And also, interruptions can be from different types of customers as well. So you need to be assertive enough to be able to advise the person who's there, okay, this is not something I can work on right now. What I will do is I've logged it. I'll get one of my support team to come back to you and provide you that sheet or that extra information you asked for. Or even in some scenarios, say, actually, that's not something I would be able to help you with. Here's someone that can help you with that. There's also additional things here that we haven't really covered. So in terms of time management, you will find regular tasks that always come up and how they fit into your overall day. You may be at a point where your regular tasks are so intensive that you don't have time to spend on additional tasks, so you can't actually prioritize them. In that example, you need to look at your existing regular tasks and find ways of improving the efficiency of how they're working, find automation options, look at additional delegation to see who can help you automate those tasks. For example, I create regular videos. I make my videos in a batch to make sure that all those videos are done, and then I work on the next stage of that. Now, technically, that's a regular task. I make videos all the time. So if I made videos and did them in separate chunks, I would spend my whole day doing that. but we need to find additional tasks to fit into that to keep your income source diversified. I make Amazon live streams. I live stream on LinkedIn. You need to prioritize which things need to always happen, and they need to happen first, and then you fill in the gaps with the additional things that you need to do. Your well-being is very important. I've talked a lot about here managing time. I like to push myself. I do a lot of additional tasks because I don't spend too long. I like to create and share what I like to make. So that makes me slightly different in terms of how I do things. However, originally, going back 3 or 4 years, I was in the same boat. I was actually spending a lot of time looking at box sets, watching Netflix, Amazon live shows, all that. And I discovered consuming content to a point is okay, but for your personal well-being, I started getting a bit more weighty. I wasn't as healthy as I used to be because I was spending time watching TV all day, DVDs all day, online and social media all day. So I took the steps to get additional ways to be more healthy. I started doing regular walks. As I got more energized and got my health back, what I discovered was I then spent the time on productive tasks, sharing what I know in ways that people find helpful. And there's a whole separate segment of how you make your idea into something that can be a channel or a blog, which can ultimately start making you money, and also sharing your knowledge, which is the most important thing. If you can share what you know and you're passionate about it, other people will automatically find it helpful, and that will bring money. That just happens. So apart from that, I think it's very important you keep your personal health and well-being in mind when you're working on tasks. Start with small tasks and slowly build out to make yourself more and more efficient. I'm hoping you found this course very helpful. I would appreciate you dropping some feedback. You can actually contact me in the Q&A segment of this course, and I can answer questions if you're looking for additional information. I'm available on all the social media sites at Zulf, ZULF, Zulf Photography, all one word. LinkedIn, everywhere basically, and you can check me out and drop me a message and we can see how you progress. I have got a few more courses planned out to help you throughout your journey. So I've already done ideas and branding. I've done today to help you about time management. I'm going to be doing assertiveness training and additional things to give you that extra push to get to a point where you're self-reliant and you're confident and you can do amazing things. I'll see you on my next course.